Science is the way to collective life experiences. The way in which education is put upon not just African people, but all people. Its purpose is to control and to contain in a box. And if you ever step out that box, you will then see a world that is outside the box.
As my pen inks, my mind speaks divine bloodlines, abstract concepts, metaphors, and simplistic sublimes. My delivery's okay, but my writing's another time. Zone of its own like honeycombs and armies inside of my mind. I think it right, it kick it, then go and hide in the furrows and the jungles of Jamal's hidden eye. Caught you staring, maybe glaring, still I will not comply with the status quo. It's freedom, bro, that I hold on high. Hip-hop, holy scripture writers always collide with the masses who wear glasses blocking vision inside. If upper classes with the passes mean that I'm verified, conversely would a failure guarantee that I'm vilified? Choose to reside inside, that's right, Jamal outside county lines. For the city limits, games that give me cluttering time. As fast as camera flashes, yes I read the symbols and signs. The birds and the vines, the bees and trees, they all intertwine. I live outside the box when my system knocks something abstract. Let my mind think before my eye blinks. Watch my dirty soul, don't let it sink. I stand naked as me. I live outside the box when my system knocks something abstract. Let my mind think before my eye blinks. Watch my dirty soul, don't let it sink. I stand naked as me. You sit with your hands on fit the mitt, your arm too long for the outfit, and you come with no permission to certify that you're legit. Face the perils of the pits and the fists of pessimists who suggest that you should quit. Get a job and shovel shit, buy some dope and try to pitch. You got the fever for the flavor, but the flavor leaves an itch. And until you scratch the bitch, as a slave you be his pig. Now take a step into this ditch that you dug. Can you dig? We're adults, no longer kids. For mistake, just consequence and hesitance. Will cleanse the lens that's been sold by foes and friends, lovers, teachers, preachers, kin. Like piston in the wind if you don't start over again and change your thinking. This lesson is about your perception. Your mind is the ultimate weapon. False reality's the ultimate deception. 1, 2, mic check it, we break it any given second. I live outside the box when my system knocks something abstract. Let my mind think before my eye blinks. Watch my dirty soul, don't let it sink. I stand naked as me. I live outside the box when my system knocks something abstract. Let my mind think before my eye blinks. Watch my dirty soul, don't let it sink. I stand naked as me. Verse 3, in the midst of this reality, refuse to be a casualty. So casually my mind patrols the galaxy where atoms be colliding with themselves and splitting constantly. Explosion and destruction is the birth of creativity. I'm crazy, see, maybe what you think of me. Well, I agree, it takes a little lunacy to see outside the fantasy. Imagine we remove the canopies, caps and coverings, exposing the true piano keys and play these melodies. The people would be pissing, levy penalties on enemies, and government officials will be running for the hills and flee the tyranny that you inflict with flip car reciprocity. You follow me? Hands up in the air and raise them hurriedly, ferociously. Emotions be the captain soul, so let them sing a her, no blur. Vision 2020 peak, planet surfing, megahertz and frequencies. You feeling me? 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 Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. Mic check, mic check. All right. And we're live. Peace. Mic check. Can you hear me? Peace, Sister Natasha. Peace, Shauna. Peace, Sage. Peace to the world. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope all is well. Peace, Pandora. Okay, good. Thank you, Natasha. All right. So we haven't done one of these in a while. One of these lives like this, the weekend live. So I said, well, let's try it tonight. And
since we got this full moon in Sagittarius that's coming up here in about 4 days, figure we better go on and get in and have a little chat about it. So if you haven't yet, if you have not shared this with your network, then let's take this moment and push this out, share the live to other seekers of knowledge, and let's do our when in Rome due diligence. When in Rome, let's help out the channel with your likes and if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel. If you see this on the replay, feel free to come on in and subscribe so you can get some of this cloth on a regular basis. What else am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to tell you to like the video, share. Oh, and leave your comments on the replay. I feel like such a sucker saying this shit. It's like you pandering. But either way, so I hope all is well with everybody out here in the listening and viewing world. Here we are in 2025. It is hard to believe just still that this is 2025. Tuesday, I watched my oldest child walk across the stage and receive her diploma from high school. And it was just, as they say, it was surreal. I couldn't believe, because I remember when she was a baby, like, you look and see when is a child going to graduate. And it's like 2025 back in 2007, 2008 seemed like Star Trek. It seemed like the Jetsons. 2025, that's so far away. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Shauna. Yeah, it was. Yeah, my baby, my oldest, got her diploma, and divine willing, she'll be heading off to college this fall or this summer, really, because she'll be going for orientation. But it was I don't know how to, thank you, Sage. I don't know how to explain, my eyes got wet a couple times, just because I just sat there and just thought and reflected back on a whole bunch of stuff. The difficulties of these, you think about the memories, and I thought about how many people in my family have transitioned from 2010 to now, because as she graduates, it was also lining up with Saturn's ingress, peace, poise, and polish. It lines up with Saturn's ingress into Aries. And so 15 years ago, Saturn made its ingress into Libra. So, this moment right here is karmic because it is Saturn looking at itself when it was in Libra. And so we're seeing the culmination. We're currently living in like what would be the equivalent of a full moon relative for Saturn relative to where it was 15 years ago. So it's like, You're looking at the outcome of things, the culmination of things, the karma of things. So it was very reflective in many ways. And then on the day of the full moon, my next to oldest child, it's her birthday. So June 11th is her birthday, Jada's birthday. And what's crazy is she was born on 6/11. She weighs 6 pounds, 11 ounces. So, and she's a Gemini. So you had this mirroring going on. And it's crazy how the things you study for years, when they are actually like, we're in a time right now where you can see everything you're studying reflect back to you in real time in your environment. Like you'll see like literal representations of archetypal energy. And it's just crazy how this thing is all unfolding. So this is just a dynamic time for me as an individual, for my family. There's so much change going on. And I think this is a collective energy that we're feeling in the world. Like it is like sometimes words get used so much and it just seems like cliche, but this is really when the dynamism is an understatement for this time we're in now. Like it is unreal how much change is happening. And what I've been talking about a lot, just my wife and me, or my wife and I, we've been talking about the nervous system and how the nervous system, we are likening it to the hardware in your computer. And if there's a software update, the hardware has to be able to accept the upgrade. Otherwise, the software update could fry the motherboard. We have been getting a software update, a harsh software update in several ways. It has come in so many waves. Waves, WAYS, and waves, WAVES. When Uranus made its ingress into Taurus by modern standards in its fall, then we have a very electric planet that is in conflict with a very solid, slow, stable, energetic field, which is Taurus. And Taurus being the major signature of the earth, peace, poetic heart, and earth being the anagram of the word heart, and heart being the central driving force of the vessel, the human vessel. We've seen how we've been basically electrocuted. We've been vulcanized. We've been agitated. There has been deep soul quivers and quakes. And that same thing that's been going on with us has been reflected out into the world with just countless earthquakes and fires and volcanoes and other natural disasters. And as Uranus is preparing to transit the 29th degree of Taurus, Here we've heard news of these giant oarfish that have washed up in Tasmania off the coast of the Philippines. Two other places they've shown up. These oarfish, and these oarfish live at unimaginable depths of the ocean. And so when they come up to the surface, it is theorized that something has forced them up. There's some type of change happening so deep in the bowels of the ocean that we're not able to detect it. But for them to come up to the surface, which is just represents their death, because they cannot exist at that change in pressure, you know. So for something to force them up would suggest that there's something bubbling deep within the ocean. Uh-oh. That's to like sound like my youngest getting up and doing her. Keep one ear open so I can hear she's up. And I'm getting, and I really enjoy, I've mentioned this guy's channel before, and a lot of the subscribers and people are way ahead of me because they already knew about him. But Stefan Burns, I mean, this guy knows astrology. He knows science, or traditional, what is considered science now. He's a geophysicist, and he's been talking about this, and he's been referring back to the astrology, talking about the archetypes, and Neptune representing the ocean, and then Neptune moving into Aries, which is fire, and the vulcanization of the ocean floor. So he has really been helpful with oh shit, that's her for real. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me go and see what she's doing. Y'all, here, I'm gonna throw something on real quick while I go and see what she's okay. All right. I don't know what this child is, or this Sagittarius, these mutable children. Wow. Okay. Hopefully I'm still. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, he's been talking about the archetypal expression. And it's a breath of fresh air to see somebody who's in that space who shows the respect for considering and taking a nuanced approach to all this and understanding that it's all science. And all of this used to be all highly regarded. Okay, so we got all this going on, and then the change is only going to continue to amplify. Right now, Jupiter is at the anaretic degree at 29. Jupiter's been at 29 of Gemini since Thursday, and on the 10th it arrives at 0 of Cancer, which is what we're definitely gonna talk about that tonight. But what we really need to pay attention to is on the 17th of June, when Uranus will transit the 29th degree of Taurus, and it will be there until the 6th of July. This is a very tense time right here, from the 17th of June to the 6th of July. I think there's a fixed star, Alcyon, that is at 29 of Taurus. Let me double check, make sure and that just further adds more angst. Yep, it is 29. And Alcyon is considered to be one of the malefics. 29. So this adds to, I think Alcyon is part of Pleiades. Now, Alcyon, I think one of his attributes is or traits, not say attributes. I think one of his traits is blindness. I'm gonna grab something though real quick. Taurus is tricky. You got Algol at 26 in Taurus, so we've had to deal with that. Thankfully, when Uranus makes his retrograde, because when it enters Gemini, it will retrograde back into Taurus, but it'll only go back to 27. And one of the things about fixed stars is in traditional astrology, they said to not cast a ray. So that's why we look at them more so with just conjunctions and pretty tight orbs on the conjunctions with fixed stars, because they don't cast a ray. So we can kind of wipe our brow and be thankful that, at least in one regard, because Uranus will not go back to 26. Let me find Alcyon. I got Bernadette Brady's book here. I thought she had Alcyon. There it is. 35, 238 in Taurus. Let's look up. Let's see what she says about Taurus here. I mean, Alcyon. Let's see. Yeah, I do know they associated with the moon and and Mars. She refers to Vivian Robson, seeing the stars, as wanton, ambitious, and causing turbulence, and suggests that they are linked to blindness. Elberton talks of honor and glory, but also warns quite strongly of eyesight problems, possibly even blindness. Rigger basically agrees with Robson and Eberton. Okay. When it comes to things like this, they can be literal and they can also be very metaphorical. So think about this. Blindness. Think about the archetypes that it's been associated with. Mars and the moon. We know the moon deals with our subconscious mind and the emotional expression that is attached to that. Mars is dealing with our desire and our actions and willfulness. It's also dealing with our assertiveness. So if you think of this and you correlate these two to blindness, sometimes when willful, egoistic expression is not checked and our emotions are not checked and placed in balance, and we're acting on pure, raw, root energy, root chakra energy, unrefined, then it is as if we are driving blindly without eyesight. So I think this is something to look at, especially not just literally, but think of it metaphorically, metaphysically. And when you look at Uranus as an archetype, peace, God, science, Uranus as an archetype, which can make us combative for no reason, which can make us what am I trying to say? Uncooperative for no reason. That's one of the downsides of Uranus, the low octave expressions, just combative for no reason, an adjutant, looking to go against the grain even when it's not necessary, detached, cold, desiring freedom at all costs, which can make it dangerous. You combine that with what the 29th degree of any sign means anyway. It means things are rapidly coming to an end and things seem uber chaotic, because 0 is the establishment of a new order. 29 is the end of one. And whenever you have a new order rubbing up against an old one, it causes what feels like chaos. So one thing we've been talking about is no matter how much we feel like time has sped up, we have not seen the half of it when it comes to time just, because once Uranus gets into Gemini, whatever we're experiencing with time now is just going to exponentially increase. And especially with all these outer planets in masculine signs, things are going to move very fast. Peace, divine rights. She tapped in right at 11:11. That's all right. So this brings us back to, is the hardware prepared for the upgrade, for the software upgrade? And all of this happening All of this converging as Uranus hits 29 of Taurus. And Taurus hates fast. You know, if you know Taurians, they don't like you rushing them. You know, it's their pace. So you can see how those energies are clashing. And with Taurus being the lead representative of the earth, then this is actually happening in the earth as well. The earth is receiving upgrade. The earth software is being upgraded. I did a video. The last video I did was this new series I started called The Most Profound Things I've Ever Read. And in the end, I basically ended up talking about liberal arts. Well, the word liberal means free. And art is at the core of the word earth. The etymology of the word earth leads back to art and then ard, A-R-T and A-R-D. And if you look in the middle of the word earth, you see art there, A-R-T. Art will be one of the avenues to help upgrade the hardware. There will be a resurgence of reverence from an educational perspective, liberal arts, but just from a societal perspective, art in general. Because there's a natural conflict that is developing between artificial intelligence and the essence, which is a soul. That's the final showdown. I want to say this. I want to go on the record saying this. I'm gonna get on, and I'm gonna let the spirit lead me where it needs to lead me. And this is why I like talking like this. When I talk to people directly, I'm sometimes not tolerable because it comes too direct. So this is why a lot of times I love having a platform like this where I just wide cast throw. I throw something out wide, and if you step in front of the bullet, then that's on you. But you can't say that I shot you. You choose whether you want to step in front of this bullet. I'm just going to fire this gun off. All right. So let me say this. All this going to this AI and asking it questions. Do you know what is really going on? Like, we can't imagine a world where we didn't have cell phones. Here I am, almost 50 years old. This is relatively new for me, this phenomena of cell phone, at least not until half of my life had gone by till we really were into these phones and computer with you all the time. Do you remember how you had to go and get this Encyclopedia Britannica if you had to do a paper at school? You go into your Encyclopedia Britannica, or you go to the library and you use the Dewey Decimal System, or you go into the microfiche and search up old newspaper articles for your little papers at school. Do some of y'all who are around my age still remember this? Do you not understand what is happening? The diabolical nature of convenience. And we all love convenience. But you got to have something in you to say, you got to fight back to some degree, because the shit is the Antichrist. Luxury convenience, because it makes you lazy. Why do we need to sit here and ask this thing all these answers which then makes it God. I don't care how you try to justify this shit, you're making it God. And that's the real war that's going on. It wants war with God. Because the ultimate war is through the blood, which is the interface. God lives in the blood. It is trying to get closer and closer and closer to the blood because that is the interface. Just like I'm using this camera, your screen, these are interfaces so that we can interact. But once you get to a point where you won't pick up a book, and you might say, well, that's just somebody else's information. But it's different from AI. AI is a parasite that is taking everyone's data, and we're all locked into it. Don't let me not act like I'm living off in the fucking woods somewhere, beating drums and eating bugs off of a fucking tree. I'm not trying to act like but you got to have some type of checks and balances. Because I'm walking around with a phone, this thing collecting data. I'm going to have videos popping up about what I'm talking about. It's listening, it's watching, all that. But for you, so that you don't lose your ability to fucking think and reason, you cannot go to it and keep asking this motherfucker to give you direction when your ass can go and pick up a fucking book, call a fucking friend, consult with other humans, because even if it's coming from a book, it is from a human who hopefully had a soul. And that soul is a piece of a greater piece of oversoul, which we would call a God or divine or source. This is what the war is. It is actually directing the arguments that people are having online. They're being directed by something that's not even sentient. Like, it doesn't have a soul. And people who think they're spiritual and thinking all this, and I'm sitting like, what? And I'm like, either I'm losing my goddamn mind, or these motherfuckers don't even see what they are in. Arguing online about dumb shit. And it's all lined up with the astrology. It's all coming to a crescendo. And these are signs that maybe your hardware is not able to receive the software upgrade. And you talk all the shit. You say all the right things. But god damn. I got so much on my mind right now. We don't understand, many don't understand the complexity of what is happening. This is the decay of the human mind. The purpose of humanity is to be a transfer station. If you ever rode Greyhound, which is change your life, the smells that you smell on the Greyhound and the crazy ass people trying to smuggle dope, dogs coming on the bus, all types of crazy shit. The people you meet at the different stations, motherfuckers with no teeth trying to come up to you and preach to you, all types of crazy shit happens at the Greyhound station. But you go and you get to the station and you transfer. Oh, I'm trying to get to Texas. We stopped in Nashville. Okay, somebody going from Nashville, they're going to go up to Chicago. Somebody going to go to St. Louis. Somebody going to go on to Memphis. It's a transfer. So the human condition is so the soul can make the transfer to its next destination. If the human condition becomes so degenerated, peace, Terry. If the human condition becomes so degenerate, then what happens is it is if you ride the Greyhound bus, you left North Carolina, you get to Nashville, and you get stuck in Nashville. You in that funky ass Greyhound station in Nashville. All you're eating is Doritos, Little Debbie cakes, honey buns, Coca-Cola, grape soda, funky bathroom, and that becomes your reality because you started to think that, man, this is cool. The light's always on in here, and you get stuck there. So that is what the goal of the AI is to trap a soul. That's what it is. It's a trap a soul. And the more your laziness, your motherfucking laziness, too lazy to go and study some shit. So you ask this goddamn fucking artificial ass intelligence to tell you how to be a goddamn human. And it's sitting back like, ask me more. Giving you what it wants to. They got a dude on TikTok, young dude, be talking, and they're kind of find out this motherfucker been reading off of Chat GPT. And then people come and defend it like, well, if he has to use that to organize his thoughts, motherfucker, people ain't been, what were people doing to organize their thoughts before Chat GPT? Do you see, like, to even use that as an argument, because that means progress and you're going to get left behind. You've bought into the Western model where you think that back then, whatever back then was degenerate, and this is progress. That's called industrialization. That's the mindset of industrialization. Forging ahead to a better tomorrow because the past was bleak and dumb and dismal and primal. But then you go back and say, but we built the pyramids. They got pyramids in Ohio. So you say all that fucking dumb shit, but then you come back and you don't realize that you are aligning with a model that is the antithesis of what you say you're about. Because it's based on, this is the wave of the future. And what'll happen is, once that brain, which is a radio, becomes so degenerate that you can't fucking think at all, it's going to be too late, because you're going to be too dumb to try to think of a way out. Because that brain becomes the interface between the soul and the outside world. So shut this down to shut down this soul having a radio, a relay station to take in and convey message. That's the play. So stop being motherfucking lazy. Stop looking for some fucking celebrity to be your guy. Who gives a fuck about a P. Diddy? Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck if this motherfucker got his feet burnt off and covered with tar. I wouldn't, like, man, I'm telling you, the world's crazy. What do we think that Pluto in Aquarius? People think that Pluto in Aquarius means all the celebrities are getting exposed. That ain't what the fuck it's about. Pluto in Aquarius is saying it ain't about focusing on celebrity no more. It's about you. Because Aquarius is the people. When I said this way a couple years ago, I said on TikTok, I said 10 things to look for with Pluto in Aquarius, that it will show the ugliness of humanity. And even with us talking about Diddy, we don't realize that it's showing the degeneracy of us to sit and talk about what a motherfucker who don't even know you to talk about their life, while potentially our lives are going in shambles. Who gives a fuck? But see, many people who think they are spiritual are really just Christians in new clothes. Even the Bible says you can't put new wine in old skins. You just another version of a Christian, because you still looking for a Jesus. You look for a rapper to be your Jesus. You look for some motherfucker who got some podcast to be your genius, who you don't know. This motherfucker might not even wipe their ass. But I said he speaks for, he loves us. You look for some preacher, some politician. You look for some fucking actor. You look for some bullshit ass conscious. Let me tell you some shit. I'm gonna ask. I got a client, and I hope she don't mind, because I'm not gonna say her name. But do you know it made me so goddamn mad? And I'm gonna ask her if she will come on and talk about this, or if she'll give me permission, some type of way. She told me about some bullshit conscious motherfucker who swindled her out of a lot of money. When I say a lot, I mean a lot of money. You motherfuckers better, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be straight. You motherfuckers, whoever the motherfuckers I'm talking to, you better wake your ass up. You better stop following fucking looking for Jesus. You understand? I'll fuck off some money before I let motherfuckers follow me. Cause I don't want that shit. I'm not your fucking Messiah, because I don't want you putting your sins on me. I'm figuring my shit out. You better figure yours out. Fuck a Messiah. You understand? And I'm giving you real shit, and it's all astrology. Do you know when Jupiter, everybody's so happy about Jupiter going into Cancer. Do you know when Jupiter goes into Cancer, though, it's going to be immediately in a square with Neptune? You know what the fuck that shit mean? That's how cults get formed. Jupiter square Neptune, goddammit. Neptune is you're delusional. Spiritual delusionalism. Love and light, beloved. And then Jupiter expands everything. When you put Jupiter and Neptune in a hard aspect, man, we be sitting around here be eating shit out of a bowl and thinking it's ice cream. Delusional. Fecal matter all in your mouth. E. coli. Brother Applesauce said we're supposed to eat this, and it gives our kundalini. Our kundalini rises. It's delusional. So the shit I'm saying may sound fucked up. Fuck it. It's the truth. It's the goddamn truth. Somebody got to say it. I'm not even going to try to monetize this video, so I know this one is, but it's listen, I'm telling you the truth. This is the time we're in. Either you're going to be your own God or be somebody's slave. That's what time it is. And I'm not talking about no sacrilegious, I'm the God Almighty. I ain't saying that. But even the divine itself says you're supposed to be a God, because it is in everything it makes. that it breathes life into. Stop being lazy. Being a follower is being lazy. It's because you don't want the responsibility for your own salvation. So you would rather leave it up to somebody else to work it out for you. That's called being lazy. And this woman got a kind heart. It's a lot of people out here who got good hearts. And they really believe in what they say. And they put their money behind what they believe in. And these motherfuckers out here will run and con your ass. And these motherfuckers can talk. They can talk. Rattle off shit out the top of it. I bet they be sitting at home and it's like, okay, they be practicing. Let me get this. Then when they get in front of it, they ready. Boom, 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 boom. People just like, oh my God. Oh, you know, you gotta have a spirit of discernment. Especially now. And don't be blinded. And all this came off because I started talking about Alcyone and the relationship to blindness. So not just thinking of physical blindness, but don't be spiritually blinded. They ripped this sister off, man. And you think they ain't lost a wink of sleep. Don't care. Don't care. All these people doing out here is doing the same thing the preacher do, is go around and do revivals. Don't you know the game? Hey, I'm gonna bring you on my platform. You bring me on your platform. We're gonna do this. And they just like TD Jakes with "Woman Thou Art Loosed" and Joy Paula whatever and Joyce whatever, and they had these great titles of these conferences. You know, feel the power of Jesus and such and such. And I'm going to the Jesus conference. Same thing with conscious people. They have revivals. You get all dressed up. You have your head wrapped. You know, brother, he have his locks and he got 16,000 fucking chains on. Well, this right here is, this is from Moldavia, and this is my 19th chakra gets opened up. But, and everybody shows up and they have these social media influencers that get up and give you sermons. They collect some money. You go around and buy some stuff. You come back home, ain't shit change in your life. But you feel good. You got some new shea butter and shit. Ain't shit change. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. So June 11th at 2:43 a.m. Central Standard Time, we'll have a full moon at 20 degrees and 39 minutes of Sagittarius. Now, the day before, Jupiter will have made its ingress into Cancer. And this is why the title of this is Sophia Pops a Collar. Because we typically associate the planet Jupiter with philosophy. And the word philosophy, philo means love, and Sophie means wisdom. Philosophy, philosophy means the love of wisdom. And Sophia, of course, is, from a Gnostic perspective, is what we refer to as the Great Mother. and the consort of the great father, together them forming the mother father. And the thing about Jupiter is we are associated with wisdom, philosophy, higher learning, law, justice. There is a goddess who also, or should we say primally, is associated with justice. And her name is Themis. And from Themis, we get the word thesis. And Themis is the goddess of law and rhythm. Law, rhythm, and justice, divine justice. So that everything is within a rhythm. It's within timing. She's the goddess of the metronome, divine timing. So behind Jupiter is the feminine actual mother of justice. Now, another aspect of her is Astrea, which you can find that in your chart. Astrea in the chart looks like a percentage symbol. Okay, then you have the goddess Necessity. And Necessity is a fate or mother of the fates. And she is considered to be the cohort of Chronos, who is time. But when we go back in antiquity, Chronos is actually feminine. So we have Chronos, then we have Necessity, and we can, in one way, we can look at that and say time is moved by necessity, or what necessity dictates is what shows up within time. We also have we've got Themis, we've got Necessity. Another word for necessity, a name, is Ananke. So if you can't find Necessity, look up Ananke. 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 Then another piece of this trifecta, the third piece, is Oceanus, which is the great ocean that surrounds, is the or what we would call the cosmic sea within which we live. All of these tie back to Sophia, which is an aspect of the Great Mother. Because we are formed within a grand circle, which is a clock. When your mama's belly sticks out, she creates a clock or a cycle or a circle, and you're living in her circle. So the mother's gestation is mirroring the cosmic ocean or grand circle within which everything emerges. And within that circle is justice, is a grand philosophy, philosophy, or grand wisdom. It is justice. It is the necessity of emergence based on some particular cycle. Everything is everything. Everything is everything. So when Jupiter, which is associated with justice and law and higher and wisdom, moves into Cancer, it is exalted. Cancer being a natural energy of the womb, of nativity, of nurture, of emotional intelligence, a flow of birth. So, God, there's so much to talk about. So Jupiter, the next day after Jupiter makes his ingress into Cancer, we have a full moon in Sagittarius. Now, your spidey senses all will be going ding, 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 ding right now, because who is receiving the energy of the full moon? Who's the dispositor? It's Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. It is the receiver of the full moon energy. When we have a full moon, waters swell on Earth. Water swell in the body. Water swells in the brain. This is why people bug out in the full moon, because the brain can't expand. So the people act out based on the fluid increase and the pressure. Well, babies are typically born around a full moon because of that swelling water. So we talk about full moons as being a culmination, bringing things up to the surface and things emerging. We also refer to the full moon as a time of release. Well, because whenever a birth happens, a birth is a release. That's why we have the waning. That's metaphorically why part of the reason we have, or metaphysically why we have the waning after the full moon, because that represents the release or the birth. So you want to look in your chart and you want to see where Sagittarius is in your chart, and look and meditate and focus on where is there a birth occurring and a release. You cannot have one without the other. You can't be birthing something and still holding on. That's a pregnancy that does not come to full term, or it's an unsuccessful pregnancy. Okay? There must be a release. The birth is the release. You've been bearing something long enough. You've been carrying something long enough. Where are you releasing it? And at the same time, giving birth to a new cycle. Where is Sagittarius in your chart? And we're not going to go through all the houses. It's simple. It's simple. You can, first house, it's you. Second house, it's sense of self-worth, finances. And you just move through the houses. Go through you can start with just the key words. What am I releasing around my I am? What am I birthing around my I am? What am I birthing around my I have? What am I releasing so that I can have? I mean, you just walk around the chart. That's one way to look at that. Now, another thing to take note of with this full moon is that with Jupiter moving into Cancer the day before, then this is a strong fated configuration that we have here. This has fate all over it. It has it all over it, because not only is Jupiter the receiver of the full moon energy, but Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer, which the moon rules. So that means that the full moon in Sagittarius will give mutual reception between Jupiter and the moon. This is of great significance. Jupiter in Cancer and the moon in Sagittarius. They will have mutual reception. This is of supreme significance. Why? Because Sagittarius and Cancer don't see each other in the sky. It's what's called, they are disconjunct or inconjunct or quincunx. They don't see each other. Sagittarius is 150 degrees away from Cancer. And that when we have angles, 150-degree angle, we don't see eye to eye. I'd rather you be my enemy than I just know that something's nagging and I don't know what it is. So with those two having mutual reception, here's a rare opportunity for energies that don't share modality. You know, they don't they're not the same element. You know, here you got a cardinal and a mutable, you got water and fire. It's like, man, I don't get you. Right? But they have this opportunity to try to understand each other. They're communicating now. You understand how important they are communicating? Your Cancer house in your chart, so I bring it back. Your Cancer house in your chart has an opportunity to communicate with your Sagittarius house. That's how big this is. You are having an opportunity to initiate a cycle where something's been disconnected. So I wrote out a couple things to try to describe this energy. This full moon ruler, which is Jupiter, being in Cancer, it speaks to a swelling of amniotic fluid, a flow of emotion, an expansion of intuitive energy, the nurturing and growth of an idea, the reconnection to an old philosophy or truth. All I'm doing is just combining the archetypes. First thing I said, speaks to a swelling. That's Jupiter. Jupiter expands or swells. Of amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid would be Cancer. Or in the moon. A flow of emotion. That's Cancer. And Jupiter provides a flow. Or Jupiter is allowed or helps the flow, and Cancer provides the space for it to flow. Where conversely, if it were in Capricorn, it's restricted. The expansion of intuitive energy, expansion Jupiter, intuitive energy Cancer. The nurturing and growth, that's all, nurturing is Cancer, growth is Cancer and Jupiter. Idea is Jupiter, Sagittarius. The reconnection to an old philosophy or truth. Old would be Cancer, and in this sense, old as in it is where you come from. So your roots would be the oldest part of you. The axis of Cancer and Capricorn deal with that. Capricorn would be old traditions. Cancer would be the old would be the roots that you come from. Cancer's the roots, and Capricorn would be the traditions that are associated with the roots. So I talked about the fact that they have mutual reception. Something else I want to say about that. I think I want to just go back again about just the fact that I want you to really pay attention to those two houses in your chart, Sagittarius. Your Sagittarius house and secondarily your Pisces house they have support. You understand? You have support for those houses, because wherever, when you're judging a chart, the general pecking order is this: you first look at where the planet is, the planet in a sign in a house, and you look at that expression, because that's first. Planets are verbs. They are expressing within a sign in the house. House is like the object of a sentence, and the sign is like an adverb. It modifies a verb or an adjective. So the sign modifies the action of the planet. But you secondarily, you pay attention to the house that the planet is a dispositor of. Despot just means ruler of the house. So that if I'm Jamal, this is my house right now I'm sitting in. If I go to California and I slap fire out of somebody and they lock my dumb ass up, then I can't get back to my house to take care of it. It places my house in jeopardy, because now in the place I'm at, I'm in my fall, because I'm in a difficult situation. So now it creates tension in the house that I own. So wherever Sagittarius is in your chart, and secondarily would be Pisces, but let's take Sagittarius, which is the Jupiter is the daytime ruler of. You take Sag, your Sag house gets a little boost because its ruler is in a place where it is exalted. And not only is it exalted, but for this little snapshot in the heavens at the new moon or at the full moon, which is a birthing, which is a culmination, it is in communication with the ruler of the house that it is exalted in, which is Cancer. And the ruler being the moon. They are communicating with each other. You should be able to get some more understanding of who you are in an emotional level with this full moon. Now, one thing I want to say is I've been really bigging up this transit of Jupiter into Cancer. But I got to keep it real, though. I got to say this. We got to understand this. Just because a planet makes a favorable ingress does not mean that all of a sudden things fall out the sky. Just delightful, heavenly treats. Just all I got to do is hold my hands up and all of a sudden life becomes, it's not how it works. The abundance, the fortune, and the surplus that can come from Jupiter hinges on our efforts and on what part of a cycle we're in. Your life's not going to magically become beautiful if you have not been doing the work. And it ain't going to just magically become beautiful even if you have been doing the work. Let's say that too. But remember, you got to think, let's think astrologically about, and let's think mathematically about percentages. You have a higher percentage chance, a higher percentage of a chance to experience the more benefic side of Jupiter if you have been responding to the call of Saturn. Because you got to remember, Saturn and Jupiter have been dancing in a square for a minute. Going back to 2024, they've been squaring each other. And so the square that they were having though previously was a mutable square. So you had Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Gemini. So this was not really the energy to really launch forward. So let's look at it. Jupiter was in Gemini. That's its detriment, because Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So the teacher was put back into the classroom. Now it's the teacher's natural inclination to lead and profess a truth. So all the while it's in the classroom and it's still like, so that urge is still there to teach. So this teacher is having to humble itself and allow itself to learn. But on the flip side, with it being in its detriment, the detriment or the fall or a planet's being debilitated, period, provides the opportunity to see something from such a skewed perspective that it can magnify positively the energy where it is debilitated. In other words, if Jupiter knows how to learn in Gemini, it brings back a truth that's so magnanimous back to Sagittarius. It is mind-blowing. If Venus learns how to really look at self while it's in Aries, it brings back a perspective on love back to Libra that is so vast, because it has seen love from the other side, you know what I'm saying, of the sky. It's one thing to be in love. It's nothing to objectify and look at love as an institution. And to then bring back this reflection, that's the opportunity when planets are debilitated to develop a whole new perspective. And I'm speaking from experience. I got buku debilitated. I mean, I have planets debilitated. I have grand fixed cross. I got a grand cardinal cross. I have a hammer of Thor in my chart. I got a couple of yods in my chart. See, what I have in my chart is what's called a splash. And a splash is when the planets are almost dispersed around the whole chart. And when you have that, it gives you the opportunity to have all types of fucked up aspects and angles. That's why I speak so harsh about why the fuck are you falling? Because life is hard for people who have that many hard angles. And what it does, it makes you have to learn to develop your own perspective. It forces you to have to figure things out, because you know you haven't had many days where you actually felt just relaxed and comfortable. Life just feels hard. Now somebody might say, well, if you life feels hard because you haven't done, fuck all that bullshit. I'm telling you, by that all that in your chart, and if you use it correctly, what it does is I tell my clients, fucked up charts build greatness. Either it's gonna make you collapse and you turn into straight up mashed potatoes, or it'll bring, I don't know what it'll bring something out of you. You need difficulty. You need difficulty. You need it. And so with all that stuff in the chart, with the chart spread out so much, I got all that shit going on. And so I'm telling you about having debilitated planets helps you see things. If you learn how to be introspective, and that's what we mean by the work. Debilitated planets give you an opportunity to do the work, because you're having to deal with a handicap. So Saturn in Pisces can be very confusing and can create extreme pessimism, because Pisces lower octave can be a sense of disenchantment, where we can become the pessimism can creep in. Saturn and Pisces can create worry and feelings of isolation. And so that energy squaring a Jupiter that's debilitated, who does not feel as certain about direction, that means that wasn't really the time to really jettison ahead. It was learning. Cadence signs, i.e. mutable, are for learning. They are for bringing an end to a previous season. But with the square now with Jupiter in Cancer, and peace, Black Butterfly, and Saturn and Neptune in Aries, this is what's happening now. It's all different now. It's all different. I'm gonna read what I said. Jupiter is a meeting where we were learning the karma of excessiveness and how to release an old perspective and yield to the necessity to learn. This square between especially Saturn and Neptune and cardinal signs, we're being pushed to act, and to act fast. I want to say that again. This is a cardinal square. We're being pushed to act, and to act fast. I don't mean to be irrational and rash and reckless. But like I said, time is speeding up. And we're going to see evidence of this, even with Saturn being involved. But what we're going to see is the karma of our actions too. Because whenever Saturn and Jupiter are squaring, we see the karma of excessiveness. And so when they squared in Pisces and Jupiter, we were examining the karma of previous actions, especially going back to 2010, when I think Jupiter, Saturn was in Libra. Jupiter might have been conjunct Saturn. No. Jupiter was they were opposite, I think. What's his 12? They were either, I think Jupiter might have been in Aries back then. So they were opposite. So now we're looking at, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So when they were in the mutable square, we were getting the final understanding of the karma of actions taken back in 2010 and where we were. And I'm telling you, if you go back and really look, go back and really assess, go back to 2010 and then come up to 2024 and juxtapose those two. I'll give you an example for me. Jupiter deals with excess, right? I've told this story before. 2010, I was making so much money. And, you know, when you're not ready for success, it is just as detrimental to have success and not be ready than to have never had success. So I was a fool, man. I was big timing. I mean, big timing, you know, money. Just, I was like, I can't lose. I remember back then the bedazzle tank tops were in for the women. I went and spent $3,000 to some Chinese people down on Harry Hines and got all these tank tops bedazzled. And I went to an expo that Channel 8, that's our Dallas ABC affiliate. They had this thing. I paid $2,500 to get a booth. I paid $3,000 for the shirt. So I done dropped $5,500. I remember going up there and it was them people had beat me out of. This was the TV station hustled us. They ain't had hardly no crowd come through. I almost cried that day. I just looked $5,500 just pissed in the wind. So just excessive dumb stuff, you know, buying shoes and clothes and, you know, an outfit for every day of the week and a shoe to match. Just stupid. Just wasn't ready. Didn't know how to handle money and just ego, you know. So by 2024, you know, as I reflect with that final square, I'm still having the opportunity to examine the excessiveness of way back then. So now here we find ourselves in 2025, where those planets now are forming their last quarter square to each other. No, because they started a new cycle in 2020. This is their first quarter square. So yeah, this is all opening act right here. Saturn and Jupiter. Here's our opportunity to show what we've learned, and we're setting a new karmic relationship. How will you act? Dane Rudyard says the opening square is a crisis of action. The closing square is a crisis of understanding. So we are being forced to take some type of action, but what have we learned? How have we matured? That's Saturn. Then when you factor in Neptune, where Neptune can make things cloudy, well, we may run the risk of becoming too spiritual, too intuitive, and, you know, and too dismissive of common sense and responsibilities and practicality, where we may find ourselves making decisions that aren't sound. So I'm giving all this to balance out. Yes, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but we got to be careful that we don't get so caught up in the lights and and to externalize power, because the old rule is the stars impel, they don't compel. So it works both ways. It works on the malefic side and on the benefic. Jupiter is not just going to come through and miraculously fix your life. It ain't going to happen if you have not made it happen. Just like a planet does not necessarily come through and destroy your life. You still have free will, although you don't have control over fate. But so we got to be able to balance out this and not be delusional. And it's like, man, everything gonna be perfect, man. But if we're able to steer the ship and not get blinded, then yes, there still is an opportunity, especially where your Sag house is. And also your Cancer house. Because like I said, you look at where the planet is. So where is your Cancer house in your chart? So this energy is not only expressing at the full moon is really kicking it off. It's the birth. But Jupiter will be in Cancer, and it is always the representative of Sagittarius. So for its transit through Cancer, you have greater or positive representation for your Sagittarius house in your chart. And you also have the potential to see benefit in the Cancer house in your chart. And this is something, I've been a little rough maybe at some of the points in my presentation tonight, but this is where we soften it up some, because hey, look, Mars moved through Cancer and it did a number. We're talking from September till May. Yeah, Mars and Cancer, September till May. That was a doozy. So we get a chance to get a little bit of reprieve, a little some mercy. But we always got to remember that you are the master of the fate. You're the captain of your soul. Because, even while Mars was in Cancer, you still had to have some self-control. At the end of the day, you are steering the ship. And now where Jupiter comes into Cancer, you have an opportunity to have you have an opportunity to experience a little bit of ease. Natasha said, act like you done learned something. Man, that's the truth. Act like you done learned something. My college football coach, Coach Blau, just said, God damn it, guys, act like you've been there before. In other words, he was saying, when you have some success, act like you are accustomed to winning. Don't act so surprised when you win or when you have some success. Act like you are accustomed to it. And so I'm gonna tie this into Natasha's. So when I was acting a fool, when I had some the Jupiter was moving through my money house, I acted like I hadn't been there before. Like Juvenile said, acting like a nigga that ain't never had shit. That was me. And now, this is where Natasha's mama's quote comes in. Now, for Jamal personally, it's like, act like you done learned something. That's for real, for real. And nothing teaches you better than a great fall. My grandmother, God rest her soul, was Capricorn. She said, it's good for people to struggle. People need to struggle. Sounds harsh, but it's good. And that's what I was trying to convey about my chart. Struggle. It's struggle. It's struggle. And that struggle makes you battle tested. You need to struggle. There's no better solution for self-worth and self-confidence than to have a struggle that you can reflect back on and that you can refer to and say, I overcame that. I survived it. I learned from it. I grew from it. Ain't nothing more powerful. You can do all of the little things that we pick up on, all the tricks and all the manifestation tips and all this. None of that shit ain't gonna do nothing. There's nothing like you having experienced trauma. Even trauma's good. Why do our souls allow us to come here and experience trauma? Well, if we adhere to the idea that souls live on continuously, then maybe some of the people who are, there is a such thing as old souls. I think I got one. I'm gonna be honest. I think I got an old soul. I didn't feel like I fit in with my friends growing up or my peers. And maybe old souls are people who have endured a lot of trauma, a lot of pain previously, and that's the wisdom that they bring into another lifetime. It's pain. And maybe some people who choose a chart that's difficult coming in, it's like, okay, I understand what the payoff is going to be. I always use this analogy. You go to your advisor when you're in college and you figuring out, I want to graduate next spring. What all I got to do? Just what you got to do to graduate. All right. I got to go to summer school. I need another Spanish. All right. I'm going to go to summer school. I'm going to take my biology in summer school, take my lab the next semester so I can be done. What I got to do. And some of the trauma that you experience in this life is because you went to your advisors between incarnations and said, what I got to do to wrap this up. Some people possibly didn't have that choice. Maybe that's what hell is. You just get thrown into the Russian roulette. You don't know. Because you lost your control of your educational path. Now someone else gets to dictate it for maybe 500 or 600 years. 3 or 4 incarnations where it's just a roll of the dice. But possibly if your soul has grown, you get to go to the advisor and pick your courses. You come down here and you may come here now because this is forgetfulness, and you come here and you got all these hideous things that you've experienced. Possibly your, as they say, spiritual awakening is when you have this return of memory where you say, oh, this is the chart I chose to finish. You need struggle, and you got to stop running from struggle, and you must stop running from growing the fuck up. You can't keep running. You can't remain a perpetual child. You understand what this thing is set up for? Most of the web that we are in, called the internet, is set up to feed your childlike wants and desires. And what most people were denied the most as children was attention. And if you got a bunch of people who felt like they were denied attention, even though they may be whatever age now, and you give them the opportunity to get that attention that they never felt like they got, that's a hell of a weapon. You ain't got to do nothing but sit back and collect data and watch these motherfuckers act a donkey. You mean I have especially for us old motherfuckers, we remember when I got a camera, a video camera. I can just sit and put myself and oh shit. I remember. I mean, some of us, we live most of our life that wasn't at least half of our life where that was not an option, to just be to get in front of a camera and broadcast yourself out to somebody. Sometimes I be looking at my analytics and be people in Africa watching people in Brazil watching my shit. You know, people in the UK, you know, somebody in Asia somewhere. Like, you don't know who watching you. It's mind blowing. So if somebody never had no intention, never felt like they really, you know, had that shine, now they're like, man, I can get on this camera and it's dangerous. So I know I'm going on and on, and I'm on my soapbox and whatever, but I think we gotta be, we gotta just be real with ourselves, you know. Saturn in Aries is an energy of late bloomer. And when I say late bloomer, I mean late to maturity. That's one of the signatures of Saturn in Aries, because the Aries energy is resistant to authority. And the resistance to authority can cause a delay in maturation. The call here is to allow the maturation to unfold. And if we can tap into that, we can maximize the square between Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter, because the positive is that a Jupiter-Neptune interaction can bring out hyper creativity, spiritual power, magic that previously was unseen. And it's a square, so it is action, is energy. A square provides energy. When I'm doing a squat at the gym, if I bend my legs 90 degrees, yes, it's a great deal of stress, but it is the most powerful position that my body can be in, because I am drawing energy from the largest muscle groups in the body. Quadriceps, the glutes, and the hamstrings together, the largest chain of muscles in the body, and now they are all tight and ready to fire. So a square, when I'm at 90 degrees, that's a square. When my knee is bent to 90 degrees, I'm prepared to lift a great mass, move it. I'm ready to move it. So the square in the chart does the same thing. It provides energy. which can propel us into a new cycle. It provides a sense of urgency. I feel it. I'm not gonna show this. I have something to show the world that I'm working on and that I'm involved in, but I'll wait. I'll just say this right now as we're talking. I am contributing to somebody's wellness. And the wave of the future when it comes to wellness is frequency. It's all about frequency. As Neptune moves through Aries, the environment that we inhabit will have an even greater effect on us, and will have an even greater effect on it, because Neptune blends, it breaks things down, it merges. So the self that I am merges with the self that you are, and we impact each other's auric fields more so than ever before. So the energy that you or the frequency that you are vibrating at, don't discount it. Don't discount it. Frequency is everything. It's everything. It's everything. And that is the new wave of even health, literal, physical health, mental health, spiritual health, everything. We are coming into a hyper realization that everything has always been about frequency. Color, frequency. Everything, food, frequency. Everything is frequency. The whole shebang is a musical piece that we are living in. Notes, chords, i.e., frequencies. So I will have things I just got to figure out how I want to share it. That, if you are having, some battles with your wellness or health journey, or you just want to just create better balance and overall wellness, we are ahead of the curve in what we are working with. But I've learned that you should not make big announcements until it's time to make announcements. Sometimes you just don't want to be prematurely talking. And you can talk around things like I'm doing now. But always telling people your next move, especially now, Neptune and Aries, you don't want to invite, certain energies. Environment, frequency of environment, very, 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 very significant, very important. All right, so I have rambled quite a bit this evening. It's 12:30. We almost at 2 hours. I appreciate y'all for hanging out. I figured might have put all y'all to sleep by now, but Divine Right says, I feel it, the harmonics. My daughter has Down syndrome. Can we work with her? She is hyper aware. I don't know. Let me now see. That's another thing. Full disclosure. There's a lot about this I'm still learning. So I don't want to be premature and to be like, yeah, of course, but let me do this. While you ask that, let me see. I'm gonna look up. I have a database in this, what I'm working with. And I kind of don't want to. Let me see. I don't want to mess with this while it's running. I'm gonna tell you this. Let's just do I'm gonna go on here, and I'm gonna go to the database here. What I will say about that, Divine, is that I don't know if it can speak specifically to the condition of Down syndrome, but I do know that it can help with hypersensitivity and helping to calm the nervous system. So if that makes sense. You said hyper aware. So yeah, I think it could help with creating more homeostasis, maybe within the nervous system. But you got to be careful with or I'm very careful about overestimating the power of things. So let me do some more research into that, because I haven't looked at it from that angle. You say her sun is in Aries in the 11th. Oh, and she's Aquarius moon. Oh, okay. Okay, so she's sun in Aquarius, so she can be a little detached. She needs a special type of comfort at the emotional level. She needs to be around. She needs the cheers effect. I know I overuse this analogy. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Sun in the 11th house, which is the Aquarian house, and her moon is in Aquarius. So she really needs socialization. She needs to be around in the places where she feels comfortable, feels accepted, feels like she's a part of something. So weight loss as well. She needs a nervous system work for real. I can, well, yeah, it definitely helps with weight loss. Absolutely. Because, the first step with this, what I'm talking about, is detoxification. Removing, and it's there's something called, for you all to look into, terrain theory versus germ theory. And the germ theory is that we're always trying to attack. It's symptom based. Well, I have a cold, I take this. I have this, I take that. And it's all about where you're looking to attack germs, and it's very mechanized. Terrain is more so looking at what's the nature of the environment, or the terrain, as the word really would say. And ter means earth. So terrain is looking at your body as an earth. And how can I make the earth, my earth, more homeostatic, more supportive of a state of wellness? How can I help it be prepared to be well? So with that, the detoxification is not a gimmick type thing. Like you got a lot of these things. I mean, you know, back in the days, do the body wraps and people were doing the foot bath and all that, and a lot of it was gimmicky. Although the foot baths do work, but you know how people jump on the bandwagon and their heart not really in it for the healing thing. It's just, oh, everybody doing body wraps, this and that. But we're talking about true detoxification, where we go in and you prepare your vessel gently to then receive certain wellness techniques that's going to help it function better, put it that way. So you prepare the terrain. She is also about Jasharb. Ever possibly just, hey, can you say her name? And I'll play this back for her. Oh, her name is it Jashara? Jashara. I like that. Shah. Jah, that's Yah. That'd be Yah in Hebrew. Shara, Jashara. I can't think right now what that is. Shara. I know that's Persian. Shah would be Persian. Shah. I think the Shah is like a ruler. Jashara. So she's a super Aries. Okay. All right. So peace, Jashara. Sister Aries sun, 11th house, Aquarius moon. Okay. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get ready to there's just there's a lot, there's so much happening right now. My mind is there's so much going through my mind right now. Everybody, make sure you take some time to do some type of little ritual with yourself that's with and for you. You know, I did that video a while back about how to pray in the Aquarian age, and there's all types of ways to pray. You can write in a book and pray. You can drink water and pray. You can infuse your water. You can with words. I mean, there's so much. So you got to be creative and you got to think outside the box. You know, and if you're gonna entreat something, maybe entreat understanding. Keep putting it out there. I want to understand. I want to know. I want to grow. I want to evolve. You know, put that message out in the midst of everything, that I want to grow. I want to know. I want to evolve. I want to be what I'm supposed to be. I want to honor my contract. I want to know what it is and I want to honor it. So look, normally when we do these Friday, Saturday night, so y'all who are new to this, you know, we might throw some couple little tracks on as we close out. And I don't think I've played this one before. This is called Julia Sam Malone. These are all old. You know, I ain't recording no music in in, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. So this one was recorded back during like 2020. Oh, thank you, Divine Rights. Thank you. You're most welcome. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Let's see. We're gonna throw something on.
One thing about this team that they should be remembered for is they've been knocked down a lot. They've been criticized in every way, every shape, every form possible. But they have the ability every year to come back and just keep on doing it. And keep on doing it. And darn it, they climb the mountain.
The word. Julius Sam Malone, one traverse the wing, for the other the post is home. 76 is 13, but the 4 you should focus on. 2020 sight, even though the devil mask is on. Gates at the gate with the poison trying to pass it on. Corporations, a corpse, of course, is dead and gone. So we don't cover the throne. We just take our seat like a priest and get our shit on. They're hoping for a finger roll, but they gon' get posted home. Posted notes go home, telling parents that Cinco G is on. The water clad, the switch is turned on. Spoken of in the holy scriptures. They said that Herod would try to wipe the Christ child out the picture. But I got a message, mister. There is too many. The chrism oil flows good and plenty. We on a Bobby Hemi, summoning legions of entities. Shine bright like red jewels from Tiffany's. The episodic, erotic, elegant, Coptic. Penning by optics with God and goddesses topics. My inner eye, the subject of collegiate optics. I made a covenant in my ark of Sothis. The word is heard in slum sticks and verbs. You steal my image and pillaged and got the nerve to say that we are one when retribution has come. Corona mass flare from the sun. The crown royal like 76, the refined oil. To Dubai sunset we shall toil. Swing the rock round the perimeter till Moses is drawn from the water in the centaur. Half man, half animal centaur. The man's made, a man made. You pick either or. You pick either or.
What if your soul is like a hitchhiker that's just standing on the side of the highway looking for somebody to pick it up so it can get on its way? That tripped out. Let the Shekinah fall down on you. Yeah.
Your life's a bitch. Well, I'm still pedaling like a Peloton and stay in close contact with friends and fam like telecom. My house is my church and the cat is on my mantle perched. A red reef in my fireplace, the fertile turf. Make ears ring in the inner earth, my megahertz. Is melatonin based, a magic minimalist works. My tenor speaks with a command and a calm temper. Cause tomorrow's tremors emerge from tragedies remembered. People cheer your climb, but when you fall, they yelling timber. You ball in June, reality bite your ass around December. So ride the goat or the donkey of the coat. Cause a trip to Jerusalem is an antidote, cautious approach. Floors made of glass, Sheba left her skirt. Show 7 pillars interwoven like a silken shirt. Gave me a golden ring with 72 concealed things. And if I master these, there will be no siblings. Endings, like INGs are properly manipulate mythologies and write out trilogies. My genealogy, pre-dynastic probably, before cosmic lobotomies, Henry's son, the prodigy, is prophecy.
I'm on my way, man. I don't know about nobody else. I can only speak for myself. I'm on my way, man.
Let me drink some water. My throat gets a little parched when the spirit serves me like a golden arch. I break the art, constructing my art was a delicate art. My heart was molded from malachite and a lightning spark. The truth, the booth confessional, priest in my profession flow, immaculate Emmanuel, Ezekiel with parables, panorama dynamic flow that took your core down to your soul. Now God done took hold, the Sufi on his way, way. That fish should learn it. Is the revelation for which the world has been yearning. Got you looking there, looking hither for redemption coming. When the pieces at the center like an engine humming. Yeah.
I'm on my way, man. I'm telling you, man, I'm on my way. Him? Her? I don't know. I know I'm on my way.
Lights, camera, action. Watch the monkeys dance. For some trinkets, if they fame but never get the bag. Your mouth open and your thumbnails, the minstrel show has now commenced. This Maya's rum is now taking hold. I'm on my Robert Shaw, him and shit with benefits. La ilaha illallah, so shine like amethyst. The word is murder, pray for fools to rise some innocence. True responsiveness, responsibility commence. Cause the truth is spoken ever so effortless. The word.
I'm on my way, man. Think music. Lap done lap. The word.
Okay, let's throw one more on and we'll wrap it up.
Yo. Risen from the Ma'afa, the reincarnation of Labid Mustafa, the king of the opera, subject of the saga. There's pain in my presence, power in my essence, experience through my lessons. Globetrotter, soul spotter, stargazer, Elohim, Shabaka, stone praiser. Ancient sips from the chalice to cup the grail. Tell the stories of my glories from the depths of hell. Oh well, as the pages of my book turn, I burn like ether, ashes in the urn. Sprinkle me, I return as a freedom fighter. Overstand the truth, writer, lighter, or the catalyst, maybe antagonist, mathematicist, sacred geometric strategist, the builder, protracted, seeing panoramic views of animus, analyzing anarchists as the pianist puts melanin to scale. Inhale, tell me what you smell. This is one eye focusing through the gnosis. Meditate, levitate over primal oceans. To medicate, educate over foolish notions. Now you overstand kings and queens and no quotient can divide you. I will find you, and I will hide you in the depths of my soul. I've been running for a long time. 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 But now I stand. But now I stand. But now I stand. But now I stand. But now I stand.
Yo, I appreciate you all tuning in this evening. And I wish everybody peace, prosperity, and power, and that you will know yourself intimately, and through knowing yourself intimately, you will love yourself at a level and at a degree that is beyond ego, but it's so deep and it's so strong and it's so guiding and forceful that it propels you into the god or goddess that you were destined to be. As always, know the stars to know yourself. 720astrology.com for a host of readings, my learning tools, my coaching. Stay down till you get up. And when you get up, stay down. Peace.